What is going on, guys? It is your boy, Young Rich, whatever you want to call me. I am back today with another episode of the No Name Podcast. Um, Again, I just want to say I appreciate all the love and support that I've been getting from all these episodes. People reaching out to me again and again, telling me what I can do to be better. And I just appreciate the love. Truly, I do. Posted a couple clips on TikTok, got about 1,000 each, which I thought was lit because I didn't think it was gonna get that much on the first try, but so 1,000 a piece is not bad. I believe one got like 1,200, which is nice to see. Had a couple comments out there, got into a couple debates with some people. One in particular said Derek Carr is a B tier quarterback, and I don't even need to explain what happened. But in case y'all didn't watch, Baker Mayfield went out there, outperformed them, and sent New Orleans into an L. And that Tampa Bay team, man, just interesting. So fun to watch. Like I said, Baker Mayfield, again, not an amazing performance, but just getting wins, scrapping wins together, man. I mean, they just handled the team that's supposed to win the division. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, man. And yet again, I'm riding with Baker, praying that Buccaneers team does good because, like I said, I'm a big fan. I appreciate it. I appreciate watching them, and it's just great football all the time. But obviously, one thing I had to get off before we get into anything else. Play of the day, Jordan Love last week. If you followed, if you didn't, you should have followed. All right, 232 and a half passing yards. I mean, it was a little bit of a sweat. He got on the very last drive right before he threw an interception. So thankfully he did. 232 and a half over, hammered it. Boom, easy money. So far, 2-1 on play of the days. Going to get a play of the day, play of the week. Tomorrow, trying to find something I really like. Another one I really did like was Kenneth Walker rushing attempts. He hit that today. He barely got it. He got about 3 carries over, and that was really just to end the game. Because it just ended right now. But first thing I got to do, get off my chest. Everybody knows I'm a USC fan. All right. I've heard some knocks on our defense, but we're not going to get into college football today, all right? We're not going to get there, right? But what we is going to get into is Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams just put a tweet out. Not he didn't put it out personally. I believe it came from his dad, but I'm gonna pull up my phone, read what it says. Just because, listen, hearing this type of news is just amazing to see, man. Okay, Caleb Williams, quote unquote, says he will be making more money returning to USC next season than as a rookie in the NFL, and says he can pick what team he wants to go to because of that. Caleb's only 5 teams on the list he would play for are the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Vikings, the Giants, and the 49ers. Okay? Me, being a Raider fan, listen, I know we're in a struggle bus right now, but if he wants to play for us, all right, and we end up getting the 3rd, 4th overall pick because we ended up, putting the rest of the season down the drain, all right, so be it. Let's trade up and go get him. I'm all for it. You guys know how I feel about Caleb Williams. And if you don't, I think Caleb Williams is a generational type talent. And, I don't need to explain that. Everybody knows he's being compared to Patrick Mahomes. He's going for back-to-back Heismans right now. He's leading one of the best college football offenses. And, I mean, some of his stats is just insane. I mean, he just came off a 6-touchdown week against Colorado, right? It was a bit of a close game. Obviously, they were beating him by, 24 at half. So the game was closer than what I would have preferred. But again, I didn't really sweat that game away. I mean, a couple throws. This was the only week I possibly ever had to criticize Caleb Williams. He made a couple throws trying to be Caleb Williams, trying to do too much, just trying to be Caleb Williams, trying to use his strong arm, trying to make big plays, which resulted in a pick and 1 third down conversion that we didn't end up converting. I do think he will, especially going to the NFL, someone's going to get into his ear. Someone's going to tell him, hey, yo, you don't got to be Caleb Williams every time. You don't. That's what Andy Reid be telling Patrick Mahomes. You don't got to be Patrick Mahomes all the time. Sometimes taking the easy throw underneath stuff, getting easy first down is what you got to do. Not every play's got to be a highlight, which is something, again, he's going to learn getting into the league, being around, professional head coaches and players and all this stuff, right? But some of the stats I got to talk about, all right? First of all, 7th in passing yards in college football. And the most interesting thing I think about this, 7th in the NFL, I'm 7th in college football, all right? 61st in attempts per game, all right? 61st. 61st, and yet he's still 7th in college football in passing yards. And the only reason he's not number 1 or number 2 is because he's only played 2 full games. Arizona State, he played the full game. Colorado would play the full game. And other than that, the other couple weeks, we didn't have to. He barely played the 3rd quarter. We went out there, scored 1 touchdown. Boom, they pulled him out. Okay, I mean, he has yet to play a full game where It is, neck and neck, and he has to go down here and make plays. He's tried. He has yet to get into a game where it's, to the wire, neck and neck, the whole entire game. So I think if he gets into one of those games, his stats is going to be even crazier. All right, but 21 touchdowns, first in college football. Like I said, not playing half of the second halves of these games is insane to see. One INT, which happened last week. He's first in yards per attempt. He's nearly averaging a first down. He is averaging a first down per attempt, which is crazy to see. Eighth in completion percentage, first in quarterback rating, and he is 11th in the third down percentage, in third down completion percentage. Conversion percentage, which I think, again, is another interesting fact because of the case that we don't get a lot of third downs. All right. So, he's not really up there because we're not really in too many third down situations. All right. For the most part, where our offense is scoring on first and second down, goal line situations, obviously sometimes that happens. But for the most part, I mean, it's just a beautiful prospect. And being the Las Vegas Raiders, I mean, listen, obviously I know the couple other teams. The Cowboys, it's not going to happen, all right? They're going to be too good. They're going to have to, I mean, listen, the only way them or the Niners can get him is if they give up somebody good, give up somebody elite. And I don't know if the Niners, especially when they know what they got in Brock Purdy, all right? The Cowboys, that's an interesting question. Maybe Dak gets traded on some sort of deal if they can work that out. Obviously, I know he's up for contract negotiations after the season, but maybe something like that works out where they trade Dak for Caleb Williams, something in that sense. But I do think if that was to happen, they would need to trade a superstar. But being in Las Vegas, I mean, everybody knows, and people who don't know, the main piece we're missing is a quarterback. So if this is the best thing I can hear as a Raider fan, all right? Knowing that we're struggling right now, and Josh McDaniels making questionable decisions week in and week out. Listen, if we go out here and we win 2 games this year, I am okay with it. As long as I know my team is going to do whatever it takes to get Caleb Williams, all right? If there's some players that are unhappy and we want to trade for some draft capital and get a couple extra first-round picks to help move up later, I'm all for it. Listen, I am 100,000% agreed and with trading up for Caleb Williams if that's what it takes. And if there's like I said, a couple players who don't want to be in that situation that we just had 2 losing seasons, if that's how it ends up playing out, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with making that decision. Okay, but enough of the Caleb Williams talks. Enough to talk about my Raiders. All right, but that's something I like to hear, obviously. But let's get in here. Let's start talking about this Sunday night Sunday football. Excuse me, bro. I'm stuttering right now. But one of the biggest quarterback standouts I had to talk about. I mean, he definitely proved me wrong this year so far. I mean, just playing absolutely phenomenal this year. He's top 5 in passing yards. And that's CJ Stroud. I mean, this dude again, 16 for 30, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did he play perfect? No, he connected on 2 big, long, 60-plus yard touchdowns with Nico Collins. Nico Collins ended up with 7 receptions, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, this guy was really clicking on offense, and they were in control that entire game against the Steelers, who has a good defense, And to see someone like that go out there, obviously, D'Amico Ryans has done a great job building this team to be in a good win now situation. And that's exactly what you get. I mean, Jimmy Ward on that defense, you trade up for Will Anderson, who's making an impact, and you see him make plays. And that's going to be a guy who just over time is going to get better and get more developed and get more opportunities to be great. You know what I'm saying? And then it's to see CJ Stroud, obviously, because he was one of the ones uncertain. Everyone was uncertain about. I was sure uncertain about him. Everyone was Bryce Young is the true number 1 QB. But right now, I mean, he deserves the recognition as possible Rookie of the Year candidate. I mean, he's playing absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they went for 451 yards as a team. I mean, 10.1 yards per pass. I mean, that's just, that's a statistic that everyone was hyping up Tua for, basically averaging a first down every time you throw the ball, which is insane to see. Yes, it was only for 1 game, but again, that's a solid Pittsburgh Steelers team. I mean, that defense is respectable. Sure, they haven't been what they were last year, and obviously things like that. But I mean, that's still a good team. That's a good football team right there. Then the only situation they're really struggling with is their offense and QB play a little bit. Inconsistent QB play. But I mean, listen, I got to give huge shout out to their play caller, OC, Bobby Slowick. Sorry if I butchered your name, but I mean, this guy is out here just calling up beautiful plays, making making everything easier for CJ Stroud. It doesn't really look like he's forced to do too much, which is a good thing to do for a rookie QB. You want to make it as easy as you can for them while they did continue to develop and make progressions throughout the season and over the years to come. But I mean, he's just done a phenomenal job. And I didn't personally know this, but I mean, he spent 6 seasons in San Francisco, which it just makes sense. I mean, and I heard, and from reading a couple reports, it turns out he worked with George Kittle right before he became a Pro Bowler. It turns out he worked with Kyle Juszczyk right before he went out there and had a Pro Bowl season as well. I mean, so this guy has worked with some great players. He was right there, passing game coordinator. So he was working right there with Kyle Shanahan, which is just a great coach to learn from, and him. Clearly, it looks like he was a sponge over there, because I mean, he just brought that offensive success over here, and that's just great to see. And I'm excited for this Houston Texans teams because I like to see teams who go down, struggle for a couple years. I like to see them get better, start competing again, because obviously we know since before Deshaun Watson was there, after the Matt Schaub era, when he got to the back end of his career, it wasn't very pretty over there. And then when Deshaun Watson left, obviously they weren't good for a year or two. I believe a year, just a year. But I mean, it's just good to see a rookie QB come out here and perform like this, man. I mean, huge shout out to D'Amico Ryans, and like I said, Bobby Slowick. He's just making everything easier. CJ Stroud's just going through his progressions. I've seen him make some remarkable throws. He's not making terrible, like, bad decisions. He's taking care of the ball. And the fact that he's very efficient throwing the ball. Like I said, he's top 5 in passing yards. I can't remember specifically, but going into this week, I know for sure he was top 5. And I got to assume he's still up there after having 300 yards this week. I mean, just overall, I mean, this Houston Texans team is definitely someone you have to pay attention to going forward. And you have to respect them. I mean, I don't know how many wins they're going to get, but again, this is just one of those teams you have to be careful looking out for. I mean, D'Amico Ryans got his defense looking good. Week 1 against Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's an MVP caliber QB. And they played good for the most part. In the halfway through the fourth quarter, started to fall off a bit. But I mean, that's just, you got young players on that team, and that stuff's bound to happen with the young squad like they have. But overall, it's just great to see, and I can't wait to continue to see CJ Stroud, D'Amico Ryans, Bobby Slowick, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, all these guys really start taking strides. I mean, because Nico Collins, that's someone that people were talking about, needs to take some strides, needs some, Tank Dell, another guy. They said that he needed to make an impact, and that's exactly what they've been doing. And I just couldn't be happier for the Houston Texans fan base. Now I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. All right, I gotta talk about my Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, I mean, I've heard a lot of talk about our defense not being very good. Okay, Justin Herbert was just getting top 5 QB talks this whole entire season for how he's been performing. Yes, they were 1-2 going into this week, but everyone was talking about how phenomenal he was playing, how great he was playing. Okay, and the first half of the game, yes, they were coming after us, they were getting after us. They came out, they were beating us up, punching us in the mouth. Khalil Mack was having an historic game, 6 sacks, had a strip sack. I mean, Aiden O'Connell definitely got punched in the mouth real quick. I mean, two fumbles. I mean, tuck rule, right? See that little tuck rule fumble thing? Who else but the Las Vegas Raiders, right? I mean, the tuck rule. The second time I've heard of it since we all know Tom Brady and and the Oakland Raiders in the AFC divisional round, and it was just. I mean, man, that stuff like that, it hurts because being a Raiders fan, it's just like, man, we can't catch a break. But I mean, overall, I mean, Justin Herbert in that first half was playing lights out. He was playing good. We couldn't really get. We had 2 or 3 stops two stops maybe by the end of the first half, but that second half we really came out and we showed out. We allowed 0 second half points. All right. Justin Herbert, 13 for 24, 167. Like I said, he had about 130 yards, 120 yards in the first half, all right? So for the second half, he wasn't doing much. He wasn't really a factor, okay? And when he ended up hurting his hand late in the game, it was already the fourth quarter, you know what I'm saying? He tried to make a couple throws. I mean, it was his non-throwing hand, right? So so let's not act like he was incapable of throwing the football, which he was, all right? Okay. But boom, obviously, yes, we gave up 305 total yards, okay? We gave up How many? 155 rushing yards. All right, and that sounds like a lot, but it wasn't from the running back. I mean, Josh Kelly, 17 carries, 65 yards. Okay, they had a wide receiver out here. I'm not even sure what his name is, but just you know how it is. Fast people in the NFL, they get a couple touches. He had 51 yards rushing on his own. All right, you take away that 51 yards, we're at sitting around 90, what 90, 99, somewhere around there. Okay, doesn't even hit 100, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with this. That was their game plan halfway through during the first half. After we started catching up on defense, was to run the ball. They tried to commit to it, and I think for the most part we did great. Like I said, 0 second half points. All right, Aiden O'Connell got off to a little bit of a brutal start, holding on the ball a little too long. I mean, the 2 strip sacks were just unfortunate. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just you can't really discredit a quarterback for strip sacks. I mean, it's just not something he can control. Okay, Khalil Mack, hell of a game, sure. He was bullying our right tackle the entire game. I don't know what that right tackle was doing, but half the time it didn't even look like he was trying. Okay, but I mean, Josh Jacobs, you got him back into some, 80, 82 receiving yards, 8 catches, leading receiver on our team, which is something you like to see. Because, like I said, they were giving us the little, outlets, and Josh Jacobs took advantage of it. 139 total yards and a touchdown. I mean, good game. Devontae Adams, 8 receptions, 75 yards, and he missed basically the whole 20 minutes of this game, all right, because of his shoulder injury. Comes back out there, and I mean, he makes 6 catches in the last quarter, all right, which, he was making his impact felt in that fourth quarter, all right. And then we all seen it. Fourth and fucking, excuse me, fourth and 10. Devontae Adams goes out here and makes a immaculate catch. I mean, just absolutely solidifying the fact that he is the best receiver in football. I mean, who else? There's only one other receiver that's really going to make that play on 4th down, and that is Justin Jefferson. Okay, those are the 2 receivers that are really going to make that play. I mean, Devontae Adams is just smothered. Great defense, and he comes down with it. I mean, he does it time and time again. I mean, he is the best receiver in football. Okay, I mean, that is no question about it. All right. Max Crosby, again, our defense, we started sending a little bit more blitzes, started to get a little bit more pressure. Tyree Wilson, he had a couple good pressures when we needed him most, and so that's something you like to see from our first-round draft pick, all right? He hasn't got himself a sack yet, but I'm pretty sure he's going to figure it out. I mean, he looked definitely much better. You noticed him making, pressures throughout the season. Throughout the game. So I'm very looking forward to seeing how he will develop and continue to move forward. But again, I mean, Max Crosby got 2 sacks of his own. Okay, like I said, for the most part, we are in this game. After all those turnovers, the 2 turnovers, the 6 sacks, we are still in this game. We are down by 7. All right, we are down by 7. I mean, at this whole second half, Aiden O'Connell is coming out here. He's throwing the ball on time, 3 steps, and the ball is coming out. I mean, you've seen him connect to Devontae Adams, 3 passes in a row on the same little out route. Just boom, boom, boom. I mean, it started clicking. He started getting there, and as soon as his back foot hit, boom, the ball's coming out. Boom, boom, boom. We start driving down the field, okay? And listen, this is where it all comes down to Josh McDaniels, bro. I mean, because listen, Josh Jacobs is a generational talent at running back. He is one of the premier backs in the NFL, okay? Right now, statistically, he is not. But last year, we've seen, and over his time in Las Vegas, we've seen what he's capable of, okay? So I am okay with saying he is a generational type back, all right? But when you get to 1st and goal on the 4, and you want to run a sprint option to the short side of the field, with your rookie quarterback, and you're just condensing the field in the red zone, no, I do not like that play call at all. You're just making it too confusing for a rookie quarterback. He doesn't get. I guarantee you, he doesn't get a lot of first team reps with in like those red zone packages and things in that nature, because I mean, it was clear in the first half. You know what I'm saying? He didn't look comfortable. He didn't look like he was able to get through his progressions quick enough. He was holding on to the ball. For the most part, he was looking poised. But, I mean, the ball just wasn't coming out, and he was a little behind on a couple throws, But for the most part, I mean, Aiden O'Connell got better as the game went on, and he proved that when we needed it most in the fourth quarter. Second half, we started scoring points. We started making stuff happen. I'm going to defend my team until I die. I mean, at this point, yes. Is there a little bit of bias? Yes. Do the numbers lie? No. You could go back and watch that game. Everyone's saying our defense sucked that game when we're playing one of the best offense. Excuse me. I don't know if this is statistically one of the best offenses. Well, one of the best quarterbacks in football, all right, who just threw for 400 yards against the Minnesota last week, all right? And we went out there and we did not allow him to go for more than 100 170 yards. He went for 167, one INT, all right? And again, 0 second half points, all right? 0 second half points. I think that says enough. I mean, our defense was playing good. And listen, Josh McDaniels, you've got to run the damn ball on 1st and goal on the 4. I mean, there's no reason not to. You have Josh Jacobs who loves these type of situations. He is craving touchdowns right now. He used to get in the goal line and get these touchdowns as much as humanly possible, all right? But you have to get him the ball. Run the ball once, run the ball twice, okay? Run the ball 3 times for all I care. You know, you have to at least try to run the ball. We did not run the ball once that entire final drive. And then you put Aiden O'Connell in a tough situation to go out there and make a play. And it's unacceptable. I mean, because Aiden O'Connell did as best as you could as a 4th-round draft pick with his first start against a division rivalry like that. The Chargers games, they always go back-to-back. They always come down to the last possession. They always come down to one-score games. We know this. Raider fans know this. The AFC West knows this. Everyone in the NFL knows that division games can go down to the wire. Doesn't matter how good your team is, how bad their team is. It is that type of game. And for him to come in here and, get better as the game went on, and then for you to really put him in a situation, yes, he shouldn't have made the throw. But at the same time, you have to know who you have at quarterback. This guy has never been in this position before. Yes, he drove us down the field. Yes, like I said, he was getting better as the game went on, but he has never been in this position before. There was only one quarterback that I've ever known that as soon as he felt pressure, he responded, and that is Tom Brady. Okay, but we don't have ours. You don't know who we have here, but all I know is Tom Brady is 1 in a million. You're not gonna get every QB is not gonna have ice like that, and it's known. You have to get him experience, and in that situation with that much pressure on that play, you have to run the ball. At least make the Chargers respect it. They were ready for that. I mean, we threw the ball 7, 8 times in a row. Okay, we did not run the ball once, and that is unacceptable. I mean, this is week in and week out, he is making questionable decisions that absolutely F our team over. Okay, I'm trying so hard not to cuss right now, but that's really how I'm feeling. I mean, I was losing my mind when I seen this play call, because why do you have to throw the ball? It's like Marshawn on the goal line in the Super Bowl. Why throw the ball? Why? Doesn't matter what play call you think you have. Why run the ball? And the problem with Josh McDaniels is that every time we get something going on offense, every time we find some plays that work, we start getting some different people involved, he goes away from it. I mean, it just looks like he's trying to have this flashy offense that he's clearly not built to run and create. And not only that, we don't have a Patrick Mahomes. We don't have you know what I'm saying? We don't have those type of caliber QBs. We don't have a Josh Allen. We don't have a Justin Herbert. Okay? And when you don't have QBs like that, you got to know who you have. Aiden O'Connell, I think he's getting a bad rap from this game because overall I think he did well. He did just about as good as anyone could possibly do. He didn't freak out. He looked poised. Again, the 2 strip sacks happen. I mean, it's just football. You don't see him coming. The tuck roll, come on. Raider fan 101, the tuck roll just had to happen to us again. You know what I'm saying? And okay, and that's where I'm going to end this, because I don't want to keep getting in here talking about my team, because we got to talk about some other stuff, okay? But at the end of the day, go watch the film. Go watch everything else. Our defense played good in that second half, okay? Halfway through the second quarter, we started getting stops, and Aiden O'Connell came to play, okay? It's unfortunate that Khalil Mack had a historical day against my team, but we came to play. I was with my team, play-by-play, and whether, like I said, whether we go out here and only win 3 games for the rest of the year, I like some of the pieces we've brought in this year. They've definitely showed some stride. Okay, so that being said, I'm done talking about the Raiders. Let's get into our next topic. The Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. Let's talk about it. All I've heard from everyone, posted a clip on TikTok, talked about it, said Tua needs to prove to me that he is elite, that he is that guy, and a lot of people are giving me hate because they're saying Tua has done this phenomenal stuff, but we also seen this last year. First 3 games he comes out hot, plays some good defenses, doesn't look that well. Then he gets injured. And then next thing you know, they got Skylar Thompson starting in the playoff game against the Bills. All right, so we've seen this type of thing before. But to go out there, okay, Mike McDaniels, he was hyping it up. He was talking about, we are hyped for this game. This is one of those games we got to go out there. We got to go take it to them. We're all hyped. We're all got more energy in this room. Like this team is ready to play. We're ready to perform. These are the games we look forward to. Okay, Buffalo Bills, don't say a thing and go out there and just beat them down, beat them in the mouth. I'm not gonna lie. The first couple drives, I'm thinking, oh, this game's gonna be a blowout. This game's gonna be 45-45 or something like in that nature. You know what I'm saying? Last one to touch the ball wins, basically. But I mean, after the first 14 apiece, Buffalo goes down there, scores again, and after that, Buffalo defense just started manhandling this Miami Dolphins O-line. Yes, it was a little banged up. I know they had a couple injuries, okay? But it's football, man. Everyone's got injuries, all right? They just lost Tre'Davious White for the season with Achilles injury, all right? And, so it happens. It's football. You've got to be ready. That's why you've got backups. That's why you draft players. That's why you pick up players to fill in those gaps and when stuff like this happens. But, I mean, they dominated the run game. I mean, if it wasn't for, what's his name? A Kane. If it wasn't for a Kane, he had one 56-yard run. If it wasn't for that, I mean, this defense would have only given up, uh, what, 86 yards on the ground. Raheem Mostert, 7 carries, 6 yards. I mean, not an overall good game. This Buffalo Bills defense looked good. It dominated. It was pressuring Tua, and you could see that early. I mean, they were getting after him. They were getting sacks, about 4 sacks on the day. That defensive line came to play. That secondary came to play. They were coming down, making tackles. I mean, Jay, they were playing good. They were playing faster than the Miami Dolphins, and that's crazy to say with all that speed, but they were ready. They were ready. They were in the right spots. I mean, Sean McDermott, again, just came in prepared. He came in with a good game plan, which, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, this Buffalo Bills team proved today that week 1 was a fluke. Obviously, we've seen how powerful and how explosive this offense and this Buffalo Bills team can be, okay? I mean, Josh Allen has proven it 2 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row. Basically playing absolutely flawless. 1 pick against the Commanders. I mean, it happens, all right? But for the most part, I mean, just dominated 3 straight weeks in a row. I mean, this game was never close. Josh Allen, 21 for 25, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, a 158.3 passer rating. Again, just a phenomenal game. I mean, and Stephon Diggs was out there and exposing that Dolphins secondary, breaking tackles. I mean, he got himself 120 yards, 3 touchdowns. They put up 414 yards total. I mean, yes, the question about this Miami team was the defense, but that offense looked like they had nothing going. I mean, Tua was getting pressured. That O-line wasn't holding up. I mean, and then this high-powered, fast, quick offense just looked obviously just looked attained. This Buffalo Bills team was out here playing football. They were harassing the defenders, not giving up any easy catches. They were rallying, making tackles, not letting anybody get loose in the secondary. I mean, they kept everything in front of them for the most part, and overall, it was just a dominating game. I mean, like I said, Sean McDermott came to play. He got his defense ready, and he came out here to prove a point, to prove a statement to the NFL, to the league, to the whole AFC, to everyone possible, and who's coming up in this upcoming schedule. I mean, they went out here and dominated, and this is why this is so satisfying for me to watch, because everyone's talking about Tua MVP, Tua for MVP, Tua for MVP, Tua Tagovailoa. I've never been one to welcome him with open arms and say, yo, you are going crazy. You're going legit. You're doing big things. Okay. I got people telling me this guy should be A tier. This guy should be blah, 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 blah. So I let people talk me into it. I moved Tua up my tier list knowing something like this was going to happen. It's exactly what did. He had 228 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. Sounds not bad, but a lot of that was junk yards. I mean, chunk yards, and then they only put up 20 points. Like this defense was absolutely blowing these guys out. And another thing I want to talk about, because everyone was talking about Tua and this explosive offense was going out here and just going to start terrorizing teams. But listen, this is the first real defensive test they played all season, and they just gave up 48 points. I mean, it was not pretty to watch if you're a Dolphins fan, because going into that game you're thinking, yo, we're going to go compete for a Super Bowl. Nope. Buffalo Bills came in here and said, not today. Not today. You're going to have to wait again. We are back. And they left that stadium with an exclamation point. And one of the things I want to talk about, I mean, it's like I said, the Bills were the only elite defense that they had played this year, and you've seen what happened. I mean, Bills, top 6 defense in yards per game, fourth in pass defense, second in points allowed per game. I mean, overall, just a great unit. They're playing great football right now. They just lost Tre'Davious White, so we will see how that plays out throughout the season. But I mean, listen, before this week, the Chargers, the Dolphins play the Chargers, 30th best defense in the league. They play Denver, the worst defense in the league. They played the Patriots, the 10th best defense in the league, but they only scored 24 points and only won 24 to 7. Excuse me, 24-17. There is some question marks there, cuz let's just say Mac Jones plays a little bit better football, and that New England offense is actually rolling. That game could go a totally different direction. I mean, you've got to see it for the facts that so far, everything we've seen against an elite defense, the Miami Dolphins have not shown up. They have not shown up to play, and they got to figure something out. Especially if Tua wants to start asking for this contract money at the end of the season. If they want to start throwing Tua's name in the MVP conversation, because this is just embarrassing. I mean, you hype someone up, everyone's hyping him up, putting him on pedestals, saying he's better than him, better than him. Everyone is saying he's playing better than Mahomes this year. Okay, which might be true statistically. But Mahomes now 2-2 after losing to the Jets last night. All right, that's something we'll get into tomorrow. But I mean, come on. I mean, I can't be the only one seeing this. Everyone wants to hype him up. Everyone wants to say this Miami Dolphins team is the fastest team in the league. Clearly, speed was not a factor on Sunday. And the Buffalo Bills came out and they proved that. I mean, they played hard-nosed football. They didn't run the ball particularly well. I mean, but again, they came together, played a complete football game, and by the halfway through the third quarter, this game was over. It was no coming back from it. I mean, they controlled time of possession for the most part, and yeah, I mean, just overall, man. I mean, the Buffalo Bills proving again that they are that team that they said they were going to be, and they really left a sour taste in Miami's mouth after this week. And I can't wait. Can't wait to see what Josh Allen, hometown hero, baby. I'm not from Fireball, but I'm a local. I grew up in that area, so like to see someone like that succeed. With that being said, I hope everyone enjoyed. I hope everyone appreciated me talking about my, how I felt about this Sunday, the big things going on. Play of the day, coming up with another one soon. And again, want to appreciate everyone for watching. Appreciate the support. Appreciate everything. And see ya.